In a room full of wealth and power, a woman who was once invisible was about to become impossible to ignore. The lights dimmed as Derrick Lawson took the stage, his voice steady, charming. Education is the backbone of family. It builds not just futures, but legacies. Applause filled the grand hall. Crystal glasses clinked, laughter echoed in corners, but then subtle shift. The camera, moving like breath, settled on a woman in black. Monica Taylor. She stood at the back, still, composed. On either side, 3 teenage boys, eyes scanning the crowd. No one recognized them, yet. Her gaze locked on Derrick, but not with admiration. No warmth, just a calm stare, one that had waited too long to speak. Micah whispered, "Mom, are you sure?" She didn't answer. Her fingers gently squeezed his, because in the next few minutes, this perfect room would come undone. And none of them were ready, not for what she brought, not for who they were. Monica wiped down the counter midnight. Her eyes burned from double shifts, but she moved with quiet grace. Then he walked in again. Same tailored coat, same clean cologne, same table in the corner. Derrick Lawson. He didn't order food, just 1 black coffee. Every night. And every night he watched her, not like a man chasing, but like a man memorizing something he wasn't supposed to keep. "Rough night?" he asked once. She smiled polite. "Same as always." But the way he looked at her, it slowed the room, like she wasn't just a waitress, like she was someone worth knowing. That's how it started. Not with flowers, not with promises, just a look, a quiet place, a woman too tired to dream, and a man who made her feel seen. Too seen. They started seeing each other more. Short walks after her shift, long talks in his car. He never asked for more, and she didn't expect it. But somehow it felt real. Then came the test. 2 lines. She sat across from him, fingers locked tight in her lap. "I'm pregnant." A pause. Longer than it should have been. Derrick blinked once. No smile, no hand reaching for hers. Just silence. She looked for something, anything, in his face, but it was a blank. Finally he said, "Are you sure?" Her heart sank, not because of the words, but because she already knew. The man who watched her like a secret, he wasn't ready to be seen. And just like that, the space between them stopped feeling quiet. It felt cold. The next morning, Monica texted him. No reply. She called that night. Straight to voicemail. She waited. A day, then 2, then 7. No messages, no knock at the door, nothing. She stood in the bathroom, phone in hand, staring at her own reflection. Eyes swollen, lips trembling, a whisper in her throat that never came out. Her knees buckled. She slid down the wall, the cold tile pressing into her spine. Her world didn't explode. It unraveled. Slow, quiet, cruel. She dialed one last time. "This number is no longer in service." The phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor. She curled in on herself, arms wrapped tight around a stomach that had just begun to change. The baby was real, but the man was gone. The room was quiet. Just the hum of machines. Monica lay still, gown loose over her belly. The technician moved the wand across her skin. Cold gel. A flicker on the screen. Then another, and another. She frowned. "Hold on." The doctor stepped in, looked, then spoke, gentle, measured. "There are 3 heartbeats." Monica blinked. 3? He nodded. "You're having triplets." Her lips parted, but no sound came. On the screen, 3 tiny pulses blinked in rhythm. 3 heartbeats. 3 lives. 3 futures, beating inside her like small drums of fate. Her breath caught, eyes filled, hands over her stomach. Too small for what was coming. No words, no plan, just a weight that settled into her chest. Not just alone now. Overwhelmed, outnumbered, and still, somehow, still breathing. Monica sat at the kitchen table, clinic papers folded in half. Her hands trembled. Loretta stood by the sink, drying a plate slowly, saying nothing. "I can't do this," Monica whispered. "Not alone, not 3. Loretta turned, her voice calm but solid. "You're not alone." Monica shook her head. "I don't even have a crib. You've got me." She walked over, sat beside her daughter, and took the papers gently from her hands. "We'll figure it out. One day at a time." Monica's eyes welled. She bit her lip to keep from crying. Loretta touched her cheek. "We're Taylors. We don't run." A beat, then softly, firmly. "We will raise them, all 3, together." No promises, no big speeches, just truth. And that small breaking thing inside Monica began to hold. Monica moved back into her childhood home. 1 suitcase, a box of baby books, the hallway still smelled like cinnamon and pine sol. Loretta had cleared the guest room, lined the windowsill with the folded blankets. On the third day, a knock. Tyrone stood on the porch, hoodie zipped to his chin, eyes soft. "I heard," he said. Monica didn't speak. She just stepped back and let him in. He hugged her like time hadn't passed. "I'll help, however you need." She laughed, small and tired. "You don't even like kids." "I like you, that's enough." He unpacked boxes, fixed the leaky sink, bought prenatal vitamins. By the end of the week, the house didn't feel so cold. It didn't feel like starting over. It felt like building something, together. Bottles rattled in the sink, formula almost gone. Monica sat on the floor, back against the fridge, holding Elijah to her chest. He was burning up. Micah screamed from the crib. Jalen had fallen asleep on a towel, no more clean sheets. Her shirt was stained, her hair tied with a rubber band. She hadn't slept in 2 nights. Loretta had gone to work. Tyrone was at the store. It was just her. 3 babies, 1 set of arms. She hummed to calm them, but her voice cracked halfway through. Tears rolled down, not from pain, just from the weight of being needed, all the time. She kissed Elijah's forehead, then leaned her head against the cold fridge door, eyes open, waiting for someone to cry again, because someone always did. Jalen sat at the kitchen table, crayon in hand. The worksheet had 1 word, cat. He stared at it for a full minute, then wrote tack. Monica watched from the stove, her smile fading. She crouched beside him. "Want to try again?" He nodded, but his grip tightened. He stared harder, then scribbled the whole page out. Tears came fast. Frustration, not sadness. "I know the word, Mom, but it won't stay still in my head." Monica froze. Something in that sentence hit deeper than anything else had in weeks. The letters didn't stay still. She hugged him close. "It's not your fault, baby. We'll figure it out, I promise." But inside her heart pounded. This wasn't just falling behind, it was something else, and she didn't know what to call it yet. The diagnosis came in a manila envelope. Dyslexia. Monica read the word 3 times before saying it out loud. Jalen kicked his feet under the chair. "Does that mean I'm dumb?" She knelt beside him. "No, it means your brain just works differently." At school, the counselor shrugged. "We don't really have the tools for that. Maybe try flashcards." Flashcards. That night, Monica stayed up late in them. Laptop open, dozens of tabs, research papers, Reddit threads, videos of children turning letters into songs. She filled a notebook, then another. Her eyes stung, but she didn't stop. If the system didn't have what her son needed, she'd build it herself. Not just for Jalen, for every kid like him. Because loving your child wasn't just hugs and meals. It was doing the work no one else would do. The house was silent. Everyone asleep. Monica sat at the kitchen table, hoodie up, screen glow in her eyes. YouTube tutorials, free coding classes, open source software for learning tools. She took notes by hand, then typed, then erased and typed again. Coffee went cold beside her. Her phone buzzed, ignored. Hours passed. Her back ached, her eyes blurred. But the thought of Jalen trying to read a word that wouldn't sit still kept her going. She didn't know what she was building yet. Only that it had to exist. She wasn't trained, didn't have a degree, just a kitchen table, a cheap laptop, and a reason. And in that quiet space where most people quit, she began, not loud, not perfect, but with fire. Tyrone watched Monica scribble code on napkins, notebooks, even grocery receipts. "You need help," he said. "The real kind." He called in a favor. A retired special ed consultant named Dr. Harris met them at a library cafe. Monica showed her sketches, flowcharts, mock-ups. Dr. Harris leaned in, impressed. "You're on to something. Most people don't even get this far." They began meeting weekly. Adjusting, testing. Jalen became the first user. If it confused him, they rewrote it. Bit by bit, the tool took shape. Letters turned into motion, sounds into color. Reading became less of a battle. She called it Triad, for her 3 sons. It wasn't fancy yet, just a beta. But it worked. Not perfectly. Not everywhere, but enough to feel like a door had opened, and Monica, finally, had stepped through. Monica stood outside the elementary school, clutching a tablet and a folder full of printouts. She had an appointment, 10 minutes. That's all they gave her. Inside, a board administrator skimmed her demo. Didn't touch the screen, didn't ask questions. "We're not looking for new tools right now," he said, already checking his phone. She offered to leave it for testing. He shook his head. "Too much liability?" Back outside, Monica sat on a bench. Wind tugged at her coat. She stared at the tablet in her lap, the one Jalen had used to read his first full sentence. It suddenly looked small, incomplete. A parent walked by, a teacher waved. No one stopped, no one saw her. For the first time in weeks, Monica thought, maybe I was wrong, maybe this isn't enough. Monica packed up her things slowly, trying to smile through the sting. Then, a voice behind her. You made this? She turned. An older woman in a floral scarf stood by the doorway, eyes kind but tired. I'm Mrs. Daniels. I teach 3rd grade down the hall. Monica nodded. Yes, my son has dyslexia. This helped him. Mrs. Daniels held the tablet gently, tapping through a few screens. Her jaw tightened, her eyes softened. She looked up. I wish I had something like this 10 years ago. Just one sentence, but it landed deep. She handed the tablet back, pausing. Don't stop, even when no one's listening yet. Then she walked away. Monica stood still, heart heavier, but held together by a thread. Sometimes one voice is enough to keep going, and today it was. The email came at 2:17 a.m. Subject, let's talk. A local entrepreneur, father of a child with dyslexia, had seen Monica's post on a parenting forum. They met at a coffee shop. She wore the same coat she'd delivered food in 2 years ago. He listened, asked smart questions, didn't interrupt. At the end, he slid a check across the table, small but enough. For your prototype. Make it real. Monica stared at it, stunned. This wasn't a grant, not pity, not charity. It was belief. Later that week, she filed the paperwork. Triad Educational Solutions became more than a name in a notebook. It was registered. It was hers. She stared at the confirmation email for a long time, then whispered to herself, Okay, now what? Because the real work was only beginning. Derrick Lawson was on magazine covers now. Forbes Under 40, Tech Innovator of the Year. He smiled in every photo. Clean-cut, confident. His company had just closed a $40 million round. Monica saw the headline while scrolling at 2 a.m., one hand rocking Jalen back to sleep. The article mentioned his fiancée, Catherine Wells, Ivy League, heiress to a venture capital firm. There was a photo, him in a tux, her in white, their hands intertwined like a campaign poster. No trace of the past, no trace of her, no traces of them. Monica's stomach turned. While she built tools to help children read, he built a life that erased the truth. She clicked off the screen, jaw tight. Not from jealousy, from clarity. Some people run from their reflection, and some turn it into fire. The envelope came with no return address. Inside, $5,000 in crisp bills and a typed note. For the children, no obligations. Monica stared at it, expression blank. She already knew who sent it. The paper smelled faintly of jasmine and leather. Victoria Lawson. The same woman who once looked through her like glass. Monica slid the money back into the envelope, added her own note. We don't need silence wrapped in cash. She mailed it the next morning. A week later, from her office window, Monica saw a car parked across the street. Same model Victoria drove, same tinted glass. Just sitting, watching, then gone. If Victoria thought guilt could be outsourced, she had miscalculated. Monica didn't want charity. She wanted recognition, and she'd get it. But on her own terms. The mic squeaked once, then went quiet. Monica stood center stage at the regional EdTech conference. Simple blazer, no slides, just her voice. She spoke about letters that moved, boys who cried at homework, and a kitchen table app that helped them read. No jargon, no pitch, just truth. Halfway through, heads stopped tilting down toward phones. By the end, people leaned in, listening, really listening. One reporter asked for her card, then another. An education blog featured her the next day. Mother of 3 builds app that actually works. The story spread. Not viral, but steady, like rain filling a dry well. And for the first time, Monica's name wasn't followed by a question mark, it was followed by silence, the kind people give when they respect you. And she was just getting started. Jalen stood at the front of the class, paper shaking in his hands, eyes on him, kids whispering, a long pause. Then he began, slow, careful, one word at a time. The sun, and then it came like up, and the boy ran. A silence followed, then claps. Not forced, not polite, real. A kid in the back let out a quiet, whoa. Jalen looked up, stunned, smiled. Monica watched through the classroom window. She didn't move. Her throat tightened, her hand covered her mouth. He'd done it. Not perfect, not fast, but clear. The letters had stopped running, and for the first time her son wasn't behind. He was exactly where he belonged. Seen, heard, cheered for, one sentence, one room, and a mother who believed enough to build the bridge herself. The envelope was thick, embossed with gold trim. Monica opened it slowly, scanning each word. You are cordially invited to the Innovators in Education Gala. Her name was printed in bold. Beneath it, honoree, Monica Taylor, founder, Dow Triad, Ed Solutions. She blinked, read it again. At the bottom, in fine print, hosted by Lawson Future Tech, Derrick's company. Her fingers curled around the edge of the invitation. Loretta walked in. You okay? Monica didn't answer right away. She just held out the card. Loretta read it, went still, then whispered, Well, what now? Monica looked down at her hands, steady as stone. I go. Not for the award, not for him, for the truth. 'Cause some reckonings don't knock. They walk in the front door. Monica sat at the dining table, invitation beside her laptop, draft after draft open on the screen. She wasn't writing a speech. She was writing a reckoning. In the living room, the boys played video games, laughing, loud, Ive unaware. Later that night, she called them in. No build-up, just breath. I need to tell you something, she said. They sat. Jalen leaned forward. Elijah crossed his arms. Micah stayed still. That man, the one hosting the gala. They waited. He's your father. Silence, not explosive, but sharp. Micah was the first to speak. Is he going to meet us? I don't know, Monica said quietly, and the hardest part wasn't telling them. It was not deep in knowing how much of her truth would hurt theirs. And still, she had to go, because the truth doesn't wait forever. Elijah stood up first. Why now? He gets to ignore us for years and suddenly host a party? His voice cracked, not loud, but sharp. Jalen sat curled at the edge of the couch, lips moving like he was trying to sound out the words she'd just said. Micah didn't say anything, didn't blink, just stared at the floor. Monica reached for them, but only Jalen leaned in. She pulled all three close, arms wide enough only because they let her. I didn't tell you before because I didn't want him to matter, she whispered. Elijah looked away. Micah stayed still. Only Jalen spoke, barely above a breath. Are we going to have to talk to him? Monica paused, swallowed. No, she said. Not unless you want to. But inside she wasn't so sure. Monica stood in front of a full-length mirror, silent as the stylist pinned the last fold of black fabric. The dress hugged her shoulders, sleek and sharp, nothing soft, nothing accidental, not for seduction, for arrival. She nodded once. This is the one. Later back home, the lights were dim, kids asleep, Tyrone gone. She opened her laptop. Slide 1, a photo of the boys as toddlers. Slide 2, a messy sketch of her first app screen. Slide 3, a headline. Startup by single mom tackles dyslexia gaps. Each image was a wound turned into proof. No voiceover, no fancy animation, just truth. She closed the file, sat back. Tomorrow she wouldn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. The room would feel her before she even spoke. Tyrone leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. You sure this is the way? He asked. Showing up like this? Putting it all out there? Monica didn't look up from her laptop. I'm not doing it for him, she said. He stepped closer. But you are walking into his room, his crowd, his name. She closed the screen, finally met his eyes. I'm walking in as their mother. Her voice didn't shake. I want my sons to see what truth looks like when it doesn't hide. Tyrone exhaled. Quiet. Just don't lose yourself in it, okay? I already lost myself once, she said. This is me getting it back. He nodded slowly. Didn't push again. Some things weren't for argument. Some things were just blood. And hers had always fought back. The lobby buzzed with cameras, clinking glasses, soft jazz. Then Monica stepped in. Black dress, chin high, no jewelry, just presence. On either side, Elijah and Micah flanked her in crisp suits. Jalen clung to her arm, wide-eyed. Conversations dipped, heads turned. Someone whispered, Is that... But didn't finish the thought. The air shifted, like the moment before a storm, calm but charged. Every step echoed louder than the music. Every light felt hotter than stage lamps. Derrick hadn't seen her yet, but others had. Eyes followed, questions formed. And in that tension, Monica didn't flinch. She wasn't there to make a scene. She was the scene. A woman walking into the room they never imagined she'd survive. With the proof walking beside her, and the countdown had just begun. Derrick stood under the spotlight, voice smooth, posture perfect. Education, he said, isn't just innovation, it's responsibility. Polite applause followed. Monica sat near the back, legs crossed, face unreadable. The boys were silent. Elijah clenched his jaw. Jalen blinked fast. Micah didn't move. Loretta reached over and held Jalen's hand. Her grip was firm. Derrick continued, "We believe in building tools that reach every child." A pause. Monica's eyes never left him, because she remembered this man once walked away from 3. And now he spoke like a savior. The irony wasn't lost. The crowd clapped again. She leaned toward the boys. "That's the man who left," she whispered. "But that's not the man who decides who you'll become." None of them looked at him now. They looked at her and waited. Derrick stood beneath a wash of soft gold light, his voice calm, practiced. "When we talk about equity in education, we're talking about seeing every child." Applause. Nods. Monica sat 3 rows back, still, unblinking. Elijah's arms were folded, Micah's hands in fists. Jalen clutched Loretta's hand, his thumb twitching. Derrick smiled from the stage like he hadn't missed a thing, as if his version of leadership had always included the forgotten. Monica leaned slightly forward, her breath shallow. This was the same man who erased them, yet here he was, preaching inclusion. Loretta didn't speak. She just held tighter, because the room believed him, because no one knew what sat quietly 3 rows away, truth in 3 small suits, and the woman who carried it all on her back, until now. "And now," the host said, voice echoing across the hall, "please welcome our final honoree, Monica Taylor." A beat of silence. Then whispers, small at first, then louder. Monica rose slowly, heels clicking against polished floor. The spotlight found her. 3 rows back, the boys watched. Elijah's jaw tightened. Jalen's hands fidgeted in his lap. Micah didn't blink. Loretta nodded once, barely. As Monica walked toward the stage, heads turned. A few guests leaned in, asking, Who is she? Derrick, standing off to the side now, turned too, eyes locking with hers. He didn't smile, neither did she. She took the steps up one by one, steady, measured, then stood behind the podium. The applause faded into a hush, and before she even spoke, the room already knew. This wasn't just a speech. It was something else. Monica adjusted the mic, her voice calm, too calm. "I was left," she began, eyes scanning the crowd. "A long time ago, alone, pregnant with 3 children growing inside me." The room stilled. Utensils paused mid-air, wine glasses lowered. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "I was told I'd never be enough, that I'd be forgotten." No names, no accusations, but Derrick's face lost all color. She continued, "I built something anyway. Out of fear, yes, but also love and fire." Gasps whispered through the back rows. A woman near the aisle muttered, "Is she talking about—" Monica glanced at her sons. "They're sitting here tonight. My greatest invention." A hush. She took one breath, measured, full. "I didn't come for applause. I came for truth." And the truth now had a microphone. The lights dimmed. The screen behind Monica lit up. First, grainy, black and white. A sonogram, 3 fluttering heartbeats, then a hospital room, Monica breathing hard, gripping the sides of a bed, preterm, alone. Cut to her at a kitchen table, head down on a notebook, pen still in hand. The boys sleeping nearby, crayons scattered across the floor. Next, Jalen, maybe 6 years old, sitting in front of a tablet. He stumbles, tries again, then the cat ran. Applause from his brothers off camera. Monica crying, half laughing. The final frame, a simple title card, built from nothing for everything that matters. Silence swept the room. A few hands covered mouths. Someone sniffled. Monica stepped back to the mic. She didn't need to explain. They had just seen her story. And now they couldn't unsee it. The room remained silent, the video still echoing in memory. Camera turned. Derrick sat frozen, eyes locked on the stage. His jaw clenched, face pale. Whatever script he'd prepared in his head was gone. 3 rows behind him, Victoria Lawson gripped the armrest. Her hand trembled. A tear slipped down her cheek, unplanned, unwelcome. She quickly wiped it away, but didn't look away from Monica. Her lips pressed tight, like holding something in. Regret, shame, something older. The crowd didn't see it, but Monica did. And for the first time, Victoria's perfect exterior cracked. This wasn't her night. This wasn't her plan. And yet, somehow, deep in her chest, she knew Monica had just done the one thing neither she nor Derrick ever could. She told the truth, and made the whole world listen. Monica stepped forward, no podium now, eyes on Derrick, nothing soft, nothing hidden. She didn't raise her voice, she didn't need to. "There they are," she said, nodding to the boys. "The 3 children you once called—" "A mistake." Gasps rippled. Derrick blinked, lips parted but silent. Monica didn't look away. They're not a burden, not a secret, not a shame to carry. She paused, let the weight hang. They are the reason I became someone you'd finally have to see. Behind her, the boy sat still, proud, present. You had legacy in your hands, she said, and you threw it away before it had a name. One more breath, then, they don't need your apology, but I need you to remember what you lost. And with that, she turned. A chair scraped softly. Victoria stood, not rushed, not dramatic, just deliberate. She stepped down the aisle, each heel clicking in a rhythm that turned heads. Monica watched, confused, alert. Victoria didn't stop at Derrick. She walked past him, straight to the second row. Jalen looked up, wide-eyed. Without a word, she knelt, opened her arms. He hesitated, then leaned in. She held him. Gentle, tight, long. Monica froze. Breath caught in her throat. For a moment, the room vanished. Just the boy, and the grandmother he'd never known. Victoria pulled back, whispering something into Jalen's ear. He nodded. Monica stared, unsure if what she saw was real, but something in her cracked. Not broken, just shifted. The woman who once looked past her was now seeing what she almost missed, and touching it. Victoria stood beside Monica now, eyes not cold, but clear. I sent the scholarships, she said softly, every year, under a different name. Monica didn't answer, just stared, breath thin. I watched from a distance because I knew Derrick had made his choice, and I had made mine long ago. She looked down at Jalen, then back up. I had a child once. Before Derrick, I gave her up. No one knew. My family called it survival. I called it shame. The room had quieted, but her voice never rose. I saw what you were doing, and I couldn't let history repeat itself. A pause, a swallow. I didn't help because I believed in Derrick. I helped because I finally believed in you. Monica blinked hard. Not forgiveness, but something lighter began to press against the edge of her anger. Monica stepped back toward the mic, script in hand, then slowly folded it shut. She looked out at the audience, then down to the front row. Her sons met her eyes. Quiet, waiting, she exhaled. I had something written, she began, but it doesn't fit anymore. A pause. I didn't come here to expose or to shame. I came here to show my son something. She turned slightly, facing them fully, that their mother didn't have to destroy anyone to become strong. A hush fell, heavy but gentle. I came here to tell them that healing is louder than revenge, and truth doesn't need to shout to be heard. Her voice trembled, not from fear but from clarity. And if they remember anything from tonight, I want it to be this. Then silence. The kind that says enough. The final word faded, and for a second no one moved. Then applause. Slow, then rising. One by one they stood, not for pity, not for shock, but because they saw her. Monica stepped down from the stage, heart pounding. Before she reached her seat, Derrick appeared. No cameras, no smile, just him. His voice was low, almost careful. I didn't come here to defend myself. She said nothing. I know I failed you, them. But if there's any chance, let me do something right. A pause. Just one chance. Monica met his eyes, calm, measured, then looked past him, at her sons. No yes, no, just silence. And sometimes silence isn't a refusal. It's a door left half open, waiting to see if the person on the other side knows how to knock. The gala had emptied. Chairs half turned, lights dimmed to soft gold. Monica sat cross-legged on the stage floor, heels off, makeup faded. Her boys circled her. Elijah stretching, Micah tracing patterns in the carpet, Jalen resting his head on her shoulder. A long silence passed, the kind that didn't need filling. Then Jalen looked up. Mom, are you happy now? She blinked. The question landed deeper than she expected. She looked at them, all three, not perfect, not easy, but hers. Her smile came slowly, not wide, just real. For the first time, she said, I think I am. Jalen nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. No spotlight, no applause, just breath. And for once, the world wasn't asking her to be more than a woman, just a mother. And that was enough. The stage was still, moonlight leaking through the high windows. Elijah sat beside Monica, legs swinging over the edge. He didn't look at her when he spoke. Do you think we should forgive him? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she took his hand, held it gently. I think, she said, you should let your own heart decide that, not mine. He nodded, slow. But whatever you decide, she continued, never let anyone make you feel small. Not with silence, not with distance, not with absence. Her voice didn't rise, but it rooted deep. You teach people how to treat you, Elijah? Every day. He looked up. And you don't have to hate him, she added. But you never have to shrink for him either. He didn't speak again. He just held her hand tighter. Loretta approached slowly, her steps quiet, but full of knowing. Monica was still wiping the corner of her eye when her mother's arms wrapped around her, firm, warm, whole. No words at first, just breath between them. Then Loretta whispered into her ear, voice rough with pride, "You did something I never had the courage to do." Monica stilled. "You stood in your pain, and you spoke from it, out loud." A tear slipped down Monica's cheek again, but this time it didn't sting. "I stayed silent for too long," Loretta said, pulling back just enough to look at her. "But you broke that cycle." Monica gave a small, tear-wet laugh. "I did it scared," she said. "I know," Loretta smiled. "That's how we know it's real." They held each other, 2 women, 2 generations, and 1 legacy, rewritten. Monica stepped out of the grand hall, her sons close behind. The cool night air wrapped around them like a cloak. Behind, the lights of the gala glowed, but a softer light cast a halo around their figures. Whispers fluttered through the crowd. "Who is she?" "She just stole the whole show." "She's something else." Monica didn't turn back. Her heels clicked steady on the marble floor. Her boys looked up at her, eyes bright with newfound pride. No speeches, no cameras, just a woman and her sons walking toward a future rewritten. The crowd watched. And the night held its breath, because some stories don't end, they echo. And Monica's was only beginning to be heard. If you believe in second chances, this story's for you. If you've ever fallen and found the strength to rise again, comment below. I have stepped into the light. Your words matter, because they remind others they're not alone. Every share spreads hope. Every like builds a bridge. And every voice adds to the chorus of those who refuse to stay silent. So, will you stand with us? Not just as a viewer, but as someone who knows the power of resilience. Because sometimes the strongest light comes from the darkest places. And this is just the beginning. Step forward. Speak out. The world is waiting to hear your story too.